What is your favorite bird in the whole world? There are some really good ones to choose from. Some people like birds that can talk, some people like birds that have a cool display, and some people just like birds that are unique. I've been drawn for a long time to the Eurasian Hoopoe. But is it worth being my favorite bird? Let's find out how people choose their favorite birds. Here's how people choose their favorite birds. Maybe, like Matt, you appreciate their lifestyle.
Peregrine Falcon, apex predator. Let's see the hoopoe's lifestyle. The hoopoe is a foraging omnivore. It has this long beak that probes directly into the ground and eats insects. But they will also eat other small animals, seeds, or fruit. I like that it's specialized but flexible in its diet. Hoopoes eat crop-damaging pest insects, which is great.
Some of you appreciate birds that have unusual adaptations.
My favorite bird is a pied crow for its ability to copy and call other animals' sounds. The hoopoe has a few very unusual adaptations. For one thing, the female is the only one to incubate eggs in their nest, because she produces a microbe-rich, oily, smelly liquid. The smell comes from dimethyl sulfide, which smells something like rotting seaweed. She rubs this oil all over her feathers and on her eggs, making the whole nest smell unpleasant. The microbes and oil do help prevent colonization from other microbes that cause disease. Once the chicks hatch, they have an additional way to defend the nest, which is spraying their feces at any predator entering the nest. Hoopoe? You poo. I appreciate that they're keeping themselves safe. Kind of gross, but just leave their nests alone.
Maybe you appreciate birds that sound nice.
Mine is Parrot. I have a pet parrot, but a lyrebird or the birds of paradise are marvelous. Both of those are birds that are known for their looks as well as their sounds. Hoopoes are territorial and use their calls to warn away rivals, but their call is so subtle, it's like a sound you would use in a futuristic alarm clock. Listen to this.
And maybe you like the way that birds look.
Bee eaters. They're structurally, aesthetically pleasing, very colorful, and the year I spent traveling around Southeast Asia, I saw them all over the place. It's the Eurasian Starlings. They got pretty colorings and their swarming ability looks so cool. For looks, this is a good-looking bird. Every picture of a hoopoe is a good picture. They have these cool crests that are expressive. They look great with the crest up, they look great with the crest down. Wings are striking, and the crest and wings have a great warning theme. I don't know if this is actual warning color, but it looks great.
Next, asking people who watch this channel, of course, somebody chose their favorite bird based on cladistics.
As difficult as it is to choose just one species as my favorite, as every species has their ecological niches and evolutionary purpose, the aerodynamics of a peregrine falcon's stoop is incredibly fascinating. Falconids are part of a clade called Euphalconimorphae, which comprises of Passeriformes, Psittaciformes, and Falconiformes, which is phylogenetically distant from the Accipitrimorphae. The fact that falcons have convergently evolved with the other raptors, but are actually closer to parrots, is intriguing. And yes, it is, Jack.
I should have expected that you bird lovers would appreciate some very nerdy things. It's awesome, and you're on the right channel.
The hoopoe's scientific name is Apapa epops, which is fun to say. Apapa epops. Here, I have to say that there are currently 3 species of hoopoe: the Eurasian hoopoe, African hoopoe, and Madagascar hoopoe, and they all look effectively identical, and I'm probably mixing up pictures of all 3. That's not great, but they are in the same bird order as hornbills, so they do have very distinguished relatives.
Maybe you like how birds fit in our culture.
I find the red-crowned crane interesting for its iconicity in East Asian tradition. There was more from Vernon, but we'll come back to it in a moment. Culture is an interesting way to evaluate a bird. Hoopoes were considered sacred in ancient Egypt, and a picture of a hoopoo signified that someone was the heir to their family fortune. In the Bible, it literally says not to eat hoopoes. And hoopoes are the national bird of Israel. On the other hand, in German, there's an expression about stinking like a hoopoo.
Stinken wie ein Wiedehopf.
So not every cultural reference about hoopoes is a good one.
And then there are people that just appreciate birds.
Eagle, they are just epic. Pigeons! How can I choose just one? Perhaps it's the Arctic tern for its incredible migration, or the whooping crane for its amazing conservation success story. The black stilt and American avocet look quite nice, and the killdeer does a mean distraction display. I think the common loon has the best voice, and the great blue heron is a model of grace and patience. I find the red-crowned crane interesting for its iconicity in East Asian tradition, but my favorite bird in the world would probably have to be the southern cassowary, as it's one of the few birds that most people will immediately recognize as the dinosaur that it is.
I think that Vernon's comment shows that there are many different ways to appreciate birds, and that you can have multiple birds that you appreciate for different reasons.
It was fun to learn from you, so thank you for sharing your favorite birds. I'm going to say that yes, the Eurasian hoopoe is my favorite bird in the world. Beautiful, interesting, culturally significant, well worth being a favorite bird. Just don't smell them or look in their nests, or you will stink like a hoopoe. I actually do want to smell a hoopoe one day, just to know.
But even with a favorite bird, I'm still going to think that parrot intelligence is something special, that hoatzins look fantastic, and so on. There are just so many birds to appreciate. Thanks for learning with me this week. You can subscribe to keep appreciating birds, and you can support this channel on Patreon or as a channel member. Thanks for stopping by this week to learn what makes life awesome.